Hey, Drifter, how's it going? Here, come take a seat by the fire. I got a new story for you. And, hold on, before we even get started, let me tell you about my day real quick. I went to help Miss Gladstar, and I had to round up some pigs this time around. I didn't even get a chance to shower. Sorry, I should, before we go to bed, but, I got paid, in cabbages this time. But, at least we got something to eat. Oh, I made cabbage stew. It's cooking up right now. But, tell me about your day. You know I can't hear you, right? I'm sorry. Okay. Sorry. But, we do have a new story. And this one's titled The Giant and the Tailor, and it reads as so. A certain tailor who was great at boasting, but ill at doing, took it into his head to go abroad for a while, and look around the world. As soon as he could manage it, he left his workshop, and wandered on his way over hill and dale, sometimes hither, sometimes thither, but ever on and on. Once, when he was out, he perceived in the blue distance a steep hill, and behind it a tower reaching to the clouds, which rose up from a wild, dark forest. "Thunder and lightning!" cried the tailor. "What is that?" I don't know if I should do voices for these people. I don't know. You should let me know. But this time around, I feel like I should. But anyway. "What is that?" And he was strongly goaded by curiosity. He went boldly towards it. And what made the tailor open his eyes and mouth when he came near it was to see that the tower had legs, and leapt in one bound over the steep hill, and was now standing as an all-powerful giant before him. Gosh, should I do a voice for the giant? I think I should. Oh. "What dost?" I don't know if that's a good voice. "What dost thou want here, thou tiny fly's leg?" cried the giant, with a voice as if it were thundering on every side. The tailor whimpered. God, I'm not giving you free whimpering audio. I don't know if that's a good idea for this channel. But I just want to look about and see if I can earn a bit of bread for myself in this forest. Okay. I'm not actually going to whimper. Anyway. "If that is what thou art after," said the giant, "thou mayst have a place with me." "If it must be, why not? What wages shall I receive?" "Thou shalt hear what wages thou shalt have. Every year, 365 days, and when it's leap year, one more into the bargain. Does that suit thee?" "All right," replied the tailor, and thought in his own mind, "A man must cut his coat according to his cloth. I will try and get away as fast as I can." On this, the giant said to him, "Go, little ragamuffin." I like that nickname a lot. Anyway. "Go, little ragamuffin, and fetch me a jug of water." "Had I not better bring the well itself at once, and the spring too?" asked the boaster, and went with the pitcher to the water. "What, the well and the spring too?" growled the giant in his beard, for he was rather clownish and stupid, and began to be afraid. What knave is not a fool? He was a wizard in his body. Be on thy guard, old Hans. This is no serving man for thee. Then the tailor had brought the water. The giant bade him to go into the forest and cut a couple of blocks of wood and bring them back. "Why not the whole forest?" "At once, with one stroke, the whole forest, young and old, with all that is there, both rough and smooth," asked the little tailor, and went to cut the wood. What, the whole forest, young and old, with all that is there, both rough and smooth? And the well in its spring, too? Growled the credulous giant in his beard, and was still more terrified. The knave can do much more than bake apples, and has a wizard in his body. Be on thy guard, old Hans. This is no serving man for thee. When the tailor had brought the wood, the giant commanded him to shoot 2 or 3 wild boars for supper. Why not rather 1,000 in one shot, and bring 'em all here? Inquired the ostentatious tailor. What? Cried the timid giant in great terror. Well, let well alone tonight, and lay down to rest. The giant was so terribly alarmed that he could not close an eye all night long for thinking what would be the best way to get rid of this accursed sorcerer of a servant. Time brings counsel. Next morning, the giant and the tailor went to a marsh, round which stood a number of willow trees. Then said the giant, Hark thee, tailor, seat thyself on one of the willow branches. I long of all things to see thou art big enough to bend it down. All at once the tailor was sitting on it, holding his breath and making himself so heavy that the bow bent down. When, however, he was compelled to draw breath, it hurried him so high into the air that he was never seen again. And this was to the great delight of the giant. If the tailor had not fallen down again, he must be hovering about in the air. Well, that sucks for him. I guess the moral of the story is stop bragging about your accomplishments, because whenever you're put to the test, you will fail. But you guys are great. Really, really. I'm sure you guys can do everything you say you can. But that was the story. That was really short, actually. And, yeah. Well, I hope you have a good night. Let's just have some cabbage soup, and I'll take a bath, and then you go to sleep after. Alright?